What's up, guys? Naughty and Sans here for probably the most exciting episode of Learn How to Edit Stuff ever. So MSI saw my YouTube channel, thought I made funny videos, thanks MSI, and they sent me this incredible 4K editing PC build. Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I'm not a PC guy. I was Mac pretty much my entire life up until the last 6 months, and I found it out by editing something on a PC that had like significantly more processor power and more RAM than my laptop ever did, and I was like, yeah, there's something to this PC thing after all. So I've been using the PC that they sent me now for almost a week, and I have to tell you, it is lightning fast. Speed is probably one of the most important things you need to have in a computer when you're editing. As part of the creative process, you need to be able to get the ideas from your head into the computer as fast as humanly possible, and you also need your computer to be running as fast as your brain can generate ideas. If you're considering building a custom PC or just buying one outright from the store, speed 100% needs to be at the top of your list, no questions asked. I urge you to click the link in the video description below to check out this MSI 4K PC build. The website is even beautifully designed, it's awesome, so click the link in the video description, check it out as we talk about it, but let's jump in, let's explore this thing a little bit more. We're kicking it off with CPU. When editing video, especially 4K video and 4K workflows, which is industry standard these days, you need your CPU to be able to handle anything that you can throw at it. It's pretty important. Processing and rendering specifically, which nobody likes to do, but it's part of the process, can be a huge hindrance on your time, and if you can get that time low, you'll optimize your workflow, work faster, work smarter, and get the ideas from your head out quicker. As most of you probably know, when doing render-intensive tasks, your computer and your CPU generate a lot of heat to get that processing through, so what's the answer? Well, the motherboard in this computer, which is the MSI Z370 SLI Plus, supports the latest Intel 8th Gen 6-core CPU, and it has digital power phase as well, which basically provides stability with more precise electric control. Also, over top of it is a cooler MasterLiquid and air cooling system which regulates the temperature way better than traditional fans. This motherboard is pretty damn powerful, and it's also relatively inexpensive, so if you're looking to build your own custom PC, this might be a good way to go. In the past, with my laptops, I would run into this problem over and over again of my CPU overheating, the fans not being large enough or powerful enough to cool down the internal parts of my computer, and everything would just start to freeze and shut down. Being new to the PC game, I obviously checked it out and researched some of this stuff, and the liquid and air cooling system that goes right over the CPU is actually really awesome. I've done some pretty render-intensive After Effects stuff, and this thing doesn't even break a sweat. All right, what else, Ian? RAM. Funny that you asked. There's a lot of information and misinformation out there about RAM, what it is, what it's useful for, all that kind of stuff. The most simplistic way I could put it is RAM is your computer's short-term memory, where the hard drives are its long-term memory. Does that make sense? Each task you run on your computer loads it into RAM to make it more quickly accessible by your machine, so it is important. Every tab, every window, every program uses RAM. RAM. However, for video editing, you're going to need a little bit more RAM than the average Joe, because loading video previews, especially with 4K video, again, industry standard, this video is in 4K, is a little bit more of an intensive task than normal. This motherboard has 4 DDR4 memory slots, so you can go up to 64 gigs of RAM. MSI sent me 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM with this rig, which to me is the preferred number, but I wouldn't go any lower than 16, and you can go max 64, but to be honest, the levels in performance are negligible when you get up that high. What I found interesting about this motherboard is MSI's DDR4 boost technology, which basically creates an isolated circuit for your RAM so other signals don't interfere with it. Some of you that comment on my videos or I talk to on social media often complain about their computer running too slow, and that's where RAM comes into play. You gotta be able to run tasks fluidly or else everything just kind of goes off the rails. All right, let's talk about SSDs, or solid state drives. Insanely fast, no moving parts, way more reliable than traditional drives. If you have a traditional drive, which I'm sure a lot of you do, you know that if you drop it or look at it the wrong way, it could break immediately. SSDs don't have that problem. Why does it matter? Well, for starters, if you have your operating system and all of your programs on your SSD, they boot up super fast, like insanely fast, way faster than you're booting up on your traditional drive, that's for sure. If you're not familiar with SSDs or you've never used one before, I recommend checking it out because it's kind of a game changer. Lucky for me, the motherboard has 2 native M.2 SSD slots, which is awesome, and you can even set them up in RAID 0 if you want. If you're not familiar with RAID 0, the super basic explanation is the ability to spread the contents of a file out over multiple drives, which allows for better read and write speeds, but the only drawback to RAID 0 is that if your hard drive dies, you lose everything. I hope we haven't been there before, but I sure have. Plugging in a hard drive and then having it not mount, and you're like, what's going on? And then the drive is dead, and then you lose a bunch of projects and everybody's mad at you. Just use an SSD. You won't have those problems. For me personally, I'm not setting it up in RAID 0. I know a lot of editors that do prefer setting up their RAID 0, but for me, I'm using one of the SSDs to run my operating system and all of my programs on, and I'm using the second SSD as a media storage drive. All of my footage goes on that drive so I can quickly access it way faster than a traditional spinning plate hard drive. But you guys can set it up however you want. All right, now let's talk about connections, baby. Keyboard, mouse, headset, webcam, external hard drives, phone charger. What do these all have in common? Ports, 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 ports. On an editing rig, you need to make sure you have as many USB connections as possible. You need to be able to plug in everything you have with room to spare. That's important. You never know how many hard drives you're gonna have to plug in to finish a project. I would know. On top of that, you need your connections to be fast. You need to be able to transfer data fast. So on the back of this motherboard, there are a lot of ports, including 2 Lightning USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports, one for Type A and one for Type C. If you connect multiple devices to the PC, it lets you run up to 8 gigs a second, which is pretty awesome. There are a total of 10 USB ports on the back, 4 on the front, which is great. What's also great is MSI's X-Boost program, which I'd never heard about until today, but it lets you accelerate data transfer rates from your USB devices, and you can also custom tailor the performance of it to fit your needs, whether it's gaming or editing, etc. All in all, I've been using this PC for like a week, and my mind is kind of blown. I've been using PCs in general for like 3 or 4 months, so like all of this stuff is so new to me, and I don't know what everything is yet, but I'm learning and I'm figuring it out. We're doing it together. We're a team. The thing looks badass. It is super fast. It's amazing for gaming as well. I mean, MSI builds gaming rigs, but then they have this 4K editing PC, and it does both. So I close my project and then I play Overwatch, and it's like flawless and it works. And I can't, you know? I really went into this video not wanting to sell you this computer because I'm not a salesman, but damn, it's so good. Like, I'm serious, it's the holidays. If you're thinking about building a custom PC or buying a PC, click the link in the video description below. Go check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. Just go and look at it, you know? This specific model, I'll put everything down that's inside of it in the video description so you can check out all the individual parts. My workflow has gotten better. My creative process has gotten better. Thank you infinite times, MSI. I mean, this was seriously like one of the best gifts I could ever receive. I get sponsorship emails all the time in my inbox, but I saw the one from MSI and they really wanted to help and they wanted to reach out and give me something that could just chew through anything I throw at it, and it's amazing. So biggest thanks to MSI for this. I will never forget this. That's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, the PC build, the awesomeness. Go click the link in the video description below to check out more information. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also check out the last video that you missed. We do them weekly here at Learn How to Edit Stuff. You know what we do. We didn't edit anything today. I'm sorry, you know, my bad. But this was just so exciting. Anyway, subscribe, check out the last video that you missed, and I will see you next time.